Virgo, brace yourself. Not in the way you brace for something difficult, in the way you brace for something that arrives with more force than you anticipated. Something that lands harder and more completely and more specifically in the place where you actually live than anything you thought to prepare for. The kind of thing that makes you realize in the moment of its arrival that all the preparing in the world would not have been sufficient, because the thing itself is simply larger than any preparation you could have made for it. What is coming from someone younger than you is not a small gesture. It is not the tentative, let me test the waters. I am going to reveal a portion of what I feel and see how it is received kind of offering that characterizes the early stages of someone finding their courage around a significant feeling. What is coming is the whole thing, the complete, unmanaged, this is everything I have been carrying and I am done carrying it alone version of what this younger person has been building towards you for longer than you know. A confession and a proposal, both together in the specific, simultaneous, I have thought about this completely and I know what I want way of someone who has done the internal work already and is arriving at you not with a feeling that requires you to figure out what to do with it, but with a feeling and a direction. Not just, I love you, but I love you, and here is what I want to do about it, and here is what I am asking. The combination is what makes this extraordinary. Confessions happen. People tell each other how they feel, with varying degrees of completeness and courage, and the willingness to be fully seen in the saying. Proposals happen. People ask for what they want from the people they love. But the combination, the confession and the proposal arriving together from the same person in the same breath as a single complete offering of both feeling and intention is the specific, rare, this person has arrived at complete certainty kind of thing that does not happen often and that, when it does, deserves to be received as the full and extraordinary thing it is. Drop the word proposal in the comments right now and subscribe to this channel if you are not already here, because what is coming from this younger person, the full, unmanaged love, confession, and proposal combination of everything they feel and everything they want, is going to require you to be more open than you may currently be prepared to be. And this reading is going to make sure you are prepared. Let me begin with the wanting, because the wanting is the foundation of everything. And before we talk about the confession and the proposal, I want to make sure you understand the specific quality and the specific intensity of the wanting that has been building in this younger person toward this moment. They want you in the way that a person wants something when they have stopped pretending they can want it any other way. When the reasonable, manageable, appropriately sized version of wanting that they started with has grown past every container they tried to keep it in, when the feeling has become too specific and too present and too insistent for the word want to feel adequate, even though it is the only word available, and it is going to have to do, because the feeling is real regardless of whether language can hold it properly. The wanting is physical, not exclusively, not even primarily, but genuinely and without apology. This younger person finds you extraordinarily attractive in the specific, detailed, I have noticed everything way of someone whose attention has been fully captured by a particular person. The way you look, the way you move, the specific quality of your physical presence in a space, the ease of it, the groundedness of it, the particular way you inhabit your own body with the settled confidence of someone who has developed a genuine relationship with who they are. All of it accumulated by someone who has been paying the kind of attention that only genuine attraction produces. The wanting is intellectual. They want your mind. The conversations that go somewhere real. The specific quality of your thinking, the precision and the depth and the warmth that coexist with both. The way you approach things from angles they did not see coming. The particular combination of intelligence and groundedness that makes engaging with you different from engaging with anyone they know in their immediate world. They have found in you a mind that does something to their own mind that they cannot find replicated elsewhere, and the wanting of more of it has become a constant rather than an occasional feature of their interior life. The wanting is emotional. They want the specific quality of being known by you, of having your attention in the complete, genuine, thoroughly Virgo way, the attention that notices the real things, that remembers the specific details, that responds to who you actually are rather than who you are performing yourself to be. That quality of being known by you, which they have had in glimpses in the moments when you have let them close enough to experience it, has produced in them a wanting for the full version, for the complete access, for the totality of what it would feel like to be someone who is consistently, thoroughly, irreplaceably known by you. All of this wanting, physical and intellectual and emotional simultaneously, building in someone who has been trying with varying degrees of success to keep it at a manageable level and who has finally, definitively arrived at the understanding that manageable was never going to be available where you are concerned. The wanting is the size it is, and the size it is has produced the decision to do something about it. Let me tell you about the journey to the decision. Because this younger person did not arrive at the confession and proposal place without traveling through a specific internal landscape to get there. And understanding the landscape will help you understand the quality of what they are bringing and why it carries the weight it carries. There was a period of uncertainty, not uncertainty about the feeling. The feeling has been clear for longer than they have been comfortable acknowledging it. Uncertainty about the reception, about whether the full truth of what they feel is something you want to receive, about the age difference and what it means, and whether the meaning is a problem, about the specific vulnerability of someone who is younger and who is about to bring an enormous feeling to someone older, someone who has lived more, who has the particular authority of experience, whose response to the bringing carries a weight that a same age response would not carry in the same way. They were afraid of your judgment, not of you, of the specific, competent, I have seen more of this than you, Virgo quality of your assessment. The worry that you would look at what they bring and find it insufficient, too young, too inexperienced, too earnest in the way that youth is sometimes earnest before it has been tempered by the particular knowledge that comes from having been disappointed enough times to become strategic about hope. That fear was the thing that kept the confession from arriving sooner. Not ambivalence about the feeling, not uncertainty about what they wanted, the specific, personal. This person in particular's assessment matters to me. Fear of someone who has identified you as the one whose opinion of them matters most, and who was not yet certain they could bear the full weight of your honest response. What changed the calculation? What moved them from the fear to the decision despite the fear? Let me tell you, because it is important and because it speaks directly to something about you that you may not be fully registering. You showed them something in a moment that was probably unremarkable to you in the ordinary course of being who you are, in some interaction or exchange, or simply some quality of how you were present with them in a particular moment. You showed them something that addressed the fear more directly than any amount of reasoning could have. You showed them warmth, the specific Virgo kind, not broadcast generally, but directed specifically. The quality of your attention when it is fully and genuinely on a person. The particular experience of being with someone who is actually interested in who you are rather than in the impression you make. They felt that. And what they felt in it was safety, not the absence of risk. There is always risk in bringing a large feeling to another person. But the specific quality of someone who would receive the bringing with care, who would not be careless with the vulnerability of it, who would honor the courage required to say the whole thing, even if the whole thing required a response they were not yet certain they could give. That sense of safety is what moved them past the fear. The understanding arrived at in the specific, felt rather than reasoned way of something that lands in the body before the mind has processed it, that you are safe to be honest with. Worth the risk. The specific person for whom the risk of the full truth is smaller than the cost of continued containment. Now let me describe the confession itself, what it contains, how it arrives, what it sounds and feels like when a younger person who has made this decision finally delivers the whole thing. It begins with the acknowledgement that what they are about to say is something they have been holding for a long time. This is not a new feeling, and they are going to want you to know that. To understand that what you are receiving is not an impulse or a moment of susceptibility or the temporary inflation of feeling that sometimes passes for more than it is. It is something that has been present, tested by time and circumstance, examined from every angle, and found to be genuinely, durably, irreducibly real. The duration is going to be more than you expected. When they tell you how long this has been true, when they give you the honest timeline, reaching back further than any of the things they have said or shown would have suggested, something is going to shift in how you look back over the history of what you have shared. Certain moments are going to recontextualize. Certain interactions are going to reveal their actual meaning now that you have the full picture. Certain things they said or did that you filed under something smaller are going to reveal themselves as something larger. The confession contains the specifics, not just "I love you," though they will say that plainly and without deflection as the core of what they are offering. The specific things about you, the named, identified, this is what in you produced, this in me accounting. The particular moment that shifted something, the specific quality of yours that they cannot find replicated anywhere else. The way your mind works, the way you laugh, the specific thing you did once that they have thought about more times than they can count. You described by someone who has been paying the kind of attention that only love pays. That specificity, the experience of being named and known and described by someone who has clearly been seeing you in the fullest and most accurate way, is going to be the part that stays with you longest. the part that plays back in quiet moments, the part that tells you more clearly than any general statement of feeling could that what they are offering is real and that the real is specific to you and only you. And then the proposal. Let me be clear about what I mean by proposal, because the word carries an immediate connotation that may or may not be what this reading is showing me, and I want to be accurate. What I am seeing is not necessarily the specific traditional proposal with a particular object and a particular question. It may be that for some of you watching this, it is exactly that, and if it is, you will know it when it arrives. But what the cards are showing me more broadly is a proposal in the essential sense. A asking, a here is what I want and here is what I am asking for. A direction attached to the feeling rather than feeling offered in isolation. They are not just telling you how they feel. They are asking for something, specifically with the particular seriousness of someone who has thought about what they want and has decided to ask for it directly rather than hoping you will figure it out or waiting for circumstances to create the natural opportunity. They want you. In the specific, formal, acknowledged, we have agreed on what this is sense, not the undefined because definition requires courage kind of connection, the named kind, the chosen kind, the we have both decided kind that exists in the full light rather than in the comfortable ambiguity of almost. They want to remove the almost. They are asking to remove the almost. What they are proposing is clarity, committed, mutual, this is what we are, clarity. The specific proposal of two people who have been in each other's lives in some significant way, finally deciding, or one of them deciding, and asking the other to decide too, that the significance deserves to be acknowledged and formalized and lived in openly rather than managed around. The asking of this, the proposal of clarity, of commitment, of the named and chosen thing from someone younger is significant in a way I want to make sure you receive properly, because it is not the proposal of someone who does not understand what they are asking. It is the proposal of someone who understands exactly what they are asking and has decided that the understanding is not a reason to ask something smaller, who has looked at the full picture of what they want and what the wanting requires and what the yes would mean and what the responsibilities of the yes would be, and has decided that all of it is worth asking for, that you are worth asking for, that the full thing is worth the full ask. I want to speak to your side of this now, to the specific interior landscape you are bringing to the moment of receiving something this complete and this courageous. There is something you have been protecting yourself from feeling fully about this person, not from feeling at all, from feeling fully, from letting the full extent of what you experience in their presence and in the thought of them be as large as it actually is, from allowing the warmth and the attraction and the specific quality of what they produce in you to take up the full space it actually occupies rather than the carefully managed space you have allocated to it. You have been editing, not dishonestly, self-protectively, with the specific caution of someone who has learned that large feelings and complicated circumstances can produce large costs, and who has decided, somewhere below the level of full consciousness, to keep the feeling at a size that is manageable before knowing whether the ground is solid enough to hold its actual size. The ground is solid. These cards are showing me the ground is solid. What this younger person is bringing is solid, not infatuation, not the temporary intensity of someone who will feel differently when the novelty has passed. The tested, examined, duration proven, I have looked at this from every angle and it is still this solidity of something real. Let the editing stop when this arrives, when the confession comes, and the proposal comes, let yourself receive it from the full version of you rather than the protected version. Let whatever you feel in response be as large as it actually is. Let your face do what it wants to do. Let your voice carry the actual feeling. Let the protection come down long enough to be fully present in one of the most significant moments of your recent romantic life, because you deserve to be fully present in this. You deserve to feel completely what it is to be loved. This specifically, and this completely, and this courageously, by someone who has done the work of certainty and is bringing it to you in its most complete form. What does yes look like? What do these cards show me about the shape of what becomes available when you receive this fully and respond with your own full truth? What I see is liberation. The specific, expansive, final quality of two people who have been in each other's lives in a significant but undefined way, finally stepping out of the undefined and into the fully chosen. The liberation of no longer having to manage what you are to each other, of having the clarity that both of you have been navigating around, of being in the named, chosen, acknowledged thing that the almost has been pointing toward without arriving at. What I see is a relationship that has the specific quality of being built on complete honesty from its very foundation. Because what this younger person is offering is the whole truth, not a portion of it, not the safe version, the whole thing. And a relationship that begins with the whole truth has a different character than one that begins with the carefully managed partial version. It breathes differently. It has more room. It allows both people to be fully themselves rather than partially themselves, because the full truth is already on the table and there is nothing left to manage around. What I see is growth, both of you. The specific, genuine, each expanded by the other growth of two people who bring different things from different places in their lives and who find in those differences not friction but a specific kind of richness. The particular gift of a connection that does not simply reflect you back to yourself but shows you something new about the world, about yourself, about what is possible when you stop limiting what you are allowed to want. And what I see most simply and most importantly is happiness. The particular, unforced, this is simply what it feels like to be with the right person happiness that does not require perfect circumstances or the absence of complexity or the world having no opinions about your choices. The happiness that exists because both people have chosen each other with full information and full intention and are now in the daily reality of a life shared with someone who wanted you enough to ask for you completely. One last thing. The thing that this reading has been building toward from the beginning and that I want to deliver in the plainest possible language, because plainness is what it deserves. Someone younger than you has done the work of certainty. They have examined what they feel from every angle. They have sat with the fear and decided the feeling is larger than the fear. They have thought about what they want and arrived at an answer that is specific and complete and directed entirely at you. They have decided that you deserve the whole truth and that they deserve the relief of giving it. And they are coming to you with both the confession and the proposal, the feeling and the direction, and the most courageous and the most complete and the most genuinely loving act that a person can perform for another person. They are asking for you completely, with full knowledge of what they are asking and full willingness to be the person who asked. The only question remaining, the single, beautiful, completely open question that this reading cannot answer because it belongs only to you, is what you are going to say. Not what you think you should say, not what makes the most sense given the circumstances, not what is appropriate or what is wise or what manages the situation most responsibly. What you actually want, what the full, unedited, protective, layered down version of you wants when you sit with the question of this person and what they feel and what they are asking and what your life would look like with the yes in it. Answer from that place. The deep, honest, this is what is actually true place. Whatever the answer is, it deserves to be that true. Tell me in the comments, can you feel this coming? The specific energy of something both larger and more complete than anything this younger person has brought you before. Drop proposal if this reading found you somewhere real and expectant today. Tell me if something in what I described, the confession and proposal combination, the wanting you completely quality, match something you have been sensing without having had it confirmed, because what you have been sensing is real. And it is arriving with more completeness and more courage and more specifically for you intention than you have been allowing yourself to imagine. Open wider than you have been. It is worth it. With everything, Virgo, I will see you in the next one.